In this video, I'm going to show you how you can create an energy generator that will generate energy and place it into an energy storage by outputting it in all directions. I hope you guys enjoy. Hey, what's going on guys? TurtyWorsy here and welcome back to another Minecraft modding tutorial. I know it's been a while since the last tutorials. That is because I've basically been stuck with this one for a while. I've had a lot of issues with this tutorial, but they're all fixed now. Stupid little issues, and that has sort of lost my motivation to trying to fix it. But I thought today I'll come back, I'll just sit through it and I will fix it. And I have now fixed it, so I can now present you this energy tutorial, which has been highly requested since the very first episode. I've never done an energy tutorial before. Actually, I think I might have done one in 1.12, but that was a long time ago. And things have changed a lot. So, as you can see from the intro, you know what we're making. I've already created the energy storage thing. What we're going to be doing is creating the actual generator. So let's just get started. So as you can see, I have some errors. That's because it's missing files for the generator, basically. It's missing certain files that are needed, and we'll create those to make that all work. So I've already created all of the basic stuff. I've initialized everything. Once again, all of this is on my GitHub, so if you're interested in how to any detail, then you can go there and do that. And of course, stuff. We have the tick data in here, that's the progress being synced now into the energy, and we have the heavy streams, so storage, so you can stuff and down here right here. So I'm going to those. The thing we add are, of course, the blocks from the board right here. So just going to be, I got this info right here, that I want in that tour on non-container screens, which is quite fun. Now, it's just the administrator as well. We have the stuff here, really. Usual, click on move, that's boxing items, and press normal. And we can do energy classes, and just every data different, so this stuff is the storage. That's what we're fixing. And yeah, this is our generator, which is what we're going to get started with. So I've just saved some progress variables, created the base class. We've just got an inventory block entity here, and we're implementing our block entity ticker. So that's perfectly good. And yeah, let's get started. So energy is just a capability, the same as how we did items. We're just going to be creating another capability. It's extremely simple. I mean, when I say that, it's really simple. You might be surprised how simple it actually is. So the first thing you're actually going to need is an energy storage, something that handles our energy and stores our energy, that is sort of separate but will be contained inside of our block entity. So for this, I like to create my own custom storage, just so that I can do some stuff which isn't otherwise a thing. So let's come into our util package, which I think we created a while ago, but I might have created that in between. I'm not sure. This is just a package inside of my block entity stuff. In here, I'm going to create a new class, and I'm going to call this custom energy storage, and this will extend energy storage. So if you don't want to create a custom storage, you can just use the Forge storage, which has most of the stuff anyways. I've just added some helpful things in there, so we can just inherit off of that, and you'll see we have our 4 constructors already laid out, and we're going to want to override 2 methods. That is the extract energy method, and we're also going to want the receive energy method. And the other thing we're going to want to do is take in a block entity into these. So you can see these all pass down through, so we can just put our block entity in this one, block entity, and create that as a variable as well in here. So private final block entity, block entity. So this is going to be the block entity that has our energy attached to it. And we can just set this in this one. So this dot block entity is equal block entity. And we're going to want to change these supers here to essentially, well, there's a few ways we could do this really. I guess what we really want to do is set this in all of them so that we can pass through to these supers. So let's just do that. It's a little bit messy. It doesn't like that because it may not have been initialized, of course, because we need to pass this into all of these constructors. Now we're only going to be using one of these constructors, but maybe you might want to use a different one for different block entities. This is more of a utility class than anything else. So in our extract method, we're going to want to essentially tell the game that, okay, it's extracted, so now we need to save. And the way we do that is this dot block entity dot set changed, and this just notifies essentially the block entity that it has been changed, and then it will send its notifications off to the world, which will do its updates. And once again, we're going to want to do that in receive energy as well. So this dot block entity dot set changed. Now this might not be necessary, since obviously it will update on block entity update on the block entity update anyways, but I'm just going to put it there because why not, really? And it could potentially solve some issues which may occur otherwise. Now, there's one major thing that I believe this energy storage is missing, and essentially that is a set energy method. There's no way to directly set the energy. All you can do is extract and receive. Now, for a large majority of purposes, that is great, that's fine, but we're going to need a way to set our energy and not have to go through these receive and extract. So that will just be a public void set energy int energy, and all we need to do here is clamp the value between 0 and the capacity. And obviously there is no clamp method in Java, which is stupid by the way, but there isn't. So we have to use math.max, and then the minimum value is 0, and the maximum is math.min energy and this dot capacity. And we probably have to return that, we have to cast that to a integer, don't we? Oh, I'm returning it. That's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this dot energy. This dot energy is equal. There you go. That's what I wanted to do. Don't know why I tried to return it. Anyways, that is actually all we need for our custom energy storage. So now we can come back into our block entity and we can create this as a field. Same as we did with our inventory. In the inventory block entity, we created the item stack handler and the lazy optional. We're going to need those for our custom energy storage. As I was saying, this is pretty simple. So we just need a public final custom energy storage, and I like to call this energy storage, and then also a private lazy optional of, once again, custom energy storage, and I like to just call this energy. And then finally we're going to want to define two variables. Now that will be the capacity and the max amount that can be extracted from this generator. These will just be useful as we can pass these into our custom energy storage when we create it. So let's just do a we're going to want to keep things together here, so let's move our public just below our private. It actually should be the other way round now that I think about it. And all we're going to want is, oh yeah, this is actually going to be private, isn't it? So private int, and essentially what we're going to be putting is the capacity. Now this is just how much energy can be stored. I'm going to set this to like 2000. This is only a generator, so it's not really built to store a large amount, it's just to generate. And then obviously we need to set a max extract of 100. Now if this was a machine that used energy instead of generated it, you might also, well, you would probably not have the max extract at all, and you would instead have a max received, and you would set that instead to 100. And you can also set a default energy if you wanted to. So you could say default energy is equal, I don't know, 50. I don't know why you would have a default energy, but you might, I guess. So yeah, there's that. But we don't want a max receive because we don't want our generator to receive energy. That'd be a bit weird. So let's come into our constructor and let's initialize our two energies here. So let's first do the storage. This dot energy storage is equal create energy storage, and this is a method we're going to create. We'll create it now, I guess. So let's just come down. We'll go. It doesn't really matter. Eclipse will move it around for us. So this is going to be a private method. We don't want to create this. We don't want this to be accessible anywhere else. And this will create our energy storage. And we don't need to pass anything into that. And all we're going to do, this is a very simple method, just return a new custom energy storage. And we're going to do the one without the default energy, so this one right here. This will first take in this, so that's the block entity. Then it will take in the capacity, then the max receive, so we don't want to receive anything, so that's going to be 0 for us, and then the max extract. You can, I guess you can do the other one to make it maybe a little simpler. So say it has 0 default energy. That might actually be a good idea, just to explicitly define it. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. And then we're going to want to create the lazy. So this dot energy is equal lazy dot of, and then just a supplier of this dot energy storage, same as we did with our inventory. This is the lazy optional, my bad. Okay, great. So the next method we're going to want is get capability. Since this is a capability, we're going to want the one with the direction in it. And all we need to do here is say return cap is equal capability energy dot energy. Now, if it is the energy capability, then we're going to do this dot energy dot cast. If it's not, we're just going to call the super. So super dot get capability. There we go. And once again, since we're dealing with capabilities, we need the oh so important method invalidate caps. Super important that you have this method. We're just going to call this .energy.invalidate, and that will make sure it cleans up when this is removed and whatever. Next, we're going to want to make sure we save and load our energy, as this isn't done by default, unfortunately. So let's come into our load method. Let's actually no, let's save it first. That makes a little more sense. So to save it, we'll just do tag.putInt since energy is an integer. You could have it as a long, I guess, if you wanted to rewrite stuff. That could be a little confusing though. We're just going to put energy, and this is simply this.energy .get this.energy storage .get energy stored. You could create a method that does this for you, like a method in here that says public int get energy, and you could say return this dot energy storage dot get energy stored and pass that in here. In fact, for the sake of simplicity, I'll do that. A little less confusing. And then let's load it. So this dot energy storage, and this is why we have the set energy method, because we need to set the energy when we load it, and there's no way to do that by default, which I think is a little weird, to be honest. But anyways, we can just do tag.getInt energy, and that will save and load our energy. Now, the last two things we're going to want to do in this class is the tick method, because we're going to want to do some logic every tick, and we're going to want to be able to output the energy from this generator. Now, I'm not going to go over how to do all of this because there is quite a bit of logic here, and yeah, so I'm just going to copy paste this in, and we can explain it afterwards. So there is the tick, and if I grab the output energy method. Okay, so as you can see, there's quite a lot going on here. I'm just going to really quickly sort of run through what is happening. So first of all, if the current energy stored is less than sort of the max energy, then we want to check if the item in slot 0 is not empty, since if it's not empty, then we know it's fine. And then we just check that there is currently no progress, or if the progress is greater than the max progress, so if it's finished, then we're just going to get the energy from that stack, and we're going to extract the item, increase the progress. If the progress is greater than 1 here, greater than 0, so basically if this has happened, then we're going to increment the progress, and this will just increase until it has got to this else, where we can reset these two values here. Essentially, this is just the way of processing an item. You can think of this like it's like a furnace. In fact, it's exactly like a furnace. This is all the logic you would need for a furnace, really. And then finally, after all that, we just output the energy, which should come down or up to here. This is just a very simple method that loops through all the directions and gets the capability. If it has the energy capability, then we can extract an amount of energy. Then we can tell it to receive that amount that was extracted, and then we can just set the energy to anything that was essentially left over, which shouldn't happen because we are checking this up here, but it might happen theoretically. So yeah, that might be a little bit complex. It's really not that complex. On the surface it looks complex, I know it does, but if you really sort of look into it, you can see it's just basic logistical operations, really. So yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it, actually. We would now have a working energy, but we're going to want to sync some of those energy values to our screen, and we can do this through our container, as I showed in, I believe it was the previous episode. As I say, it's been a while, so I'm not sure. But let's come into our container data, and we're just going to want to sync basically the amount of energy that is stored and the max, so that we can have a progress bar, essentially. So we'll say case2 this.block entity dot get energy, and case 3, and that's this dot block entity dot energy storage dot capacity, or is it max? It's max. Okay. We could once again create this method inside of our block entity. I'm not going to do that. That's a little bit more effort than needs to be, and that should work. Yeah, I mean, that should work. I will quickly, I guess, run through our storage just to show you what's happening. There's not much going on in here, but I'll show you nonetheless. So obviously I have a to-do here to make it extract all the sides. That was causing some problems, so I just temporarily removed that. All I've really changed is that in the extract and receive, I'm sending a packet that updates the screen. This is because I'm not using a container, so I can't have that sync data. I have to manually sync it, and this is sort of the best way I found to do that. Just using a very simple packet, really, that just updates the energy storage right here and just sets the energy. Nothing really that impressive or crazy, but let's try and run this. It should work. I don't see why it wouldn't, so we'll see. Okay, the game has loaded, and yep, here it is. It's generating, and if I place down my storage, even though this was slightly unrelated to this tutorial, you'll see that it starts storing it. And yeah, fantastic. That is it. So before I end this video, there is one thing I would like to mention, and that is I now have a Patreon. So if you would like to join my Patreon, the link is in the description. That would be much appreciated. Yeah, apart from that, obviously my Discord server is linked in the description. My GitHub is linked in the description, so if you'd like to check out any of the code that was done in this video. Additionally, there is obviously links to other things in there. I forgot what else is in the description, but you can have a look. Just scroll down and you'll see the other things. Apart from that, I hope you guys did enjoy this tutorial. I know it was a slightly different format. I'm sort of trying out a different format of videos. So yeah, if you enjoyed, then please do be sure to like it and subscribe as well. I'll see you guys in the next tutorial. Goodbye.